once again, all my tacticians, and welcome back to a new video. This time, we're going to be discussing what I believe would be some of the most strongest contenders for the upcoming World Championships friendly online competition. Why they call it World Championships friendly instead of friendly World Championships, I do not know. But you know what? I'm not the one who makes the rules. I'm not the one who, makes the names, etc. I'm just the Reshiram wearing a fedora who battles in these online competitions. So, what is going to be making this online competition special? Well, first of all, it's going to be featuring some of the rules that we're going to be seeing for VGC 2019. Namely, we're going to be allowed to bring up to two of the normally restricted Pokemon, that we would not normally be allowed to bring in battles. For example, Mewtwo, Lugia, Ho-Oh, Kyogre, Groudon, Primal Rayquaza, regular Rayquaza, Dialga, Palkia, you get the idea. You can bring in up to two of them, including Solgaleo and Lunala, as well as Necrozma. So, those Pokemon are going to be allowed. However, people cannot bring in the mythical Pokemon. Basically, your Arceuses, your Mews, your Victinis, I forget what it was called. Darkrai, there we go. I'm actually forgetting some of these Pokemon names. And also Ash Greninja. Why don't they let people just bring in Ash Greninja? Come on, people. Just let people bring in Ash Greninja. Regular Greninja is not exactly something people will fear. Greninja has to get that KO before it gets to do anything and become Ash Greninja, alright? So let people run Ash Greninja. Let them run it. But in any case, in order for these Pokemon to qualify, they have to have the black clover symbol to be eligible. So if you don't have the black clover symbol on one of these Pokemon, I'd be very surprised that someone doesn't have a black clover, Zygarde, Solgaleo, Lunala, and Necrozma. But that's all things aside. Let's actually talk about some of these Pokemon. So, I'm not exactly sure if this is the rule set that prevents us from using the red orb and the blue orb, as well as, Rayquaza being able to learn Dragon Ascent, so Mega Rayquaza. But just in case, I am going to be talking about what makes some of these Pokemon very, very dangerous. So, Kyogre in its basic form, its basic non-primal form, the Sea Basin Pokemon gonna have the Drizzle ability, one of the strongest special attacks you can have for a water Pokemon with a 150, a very respectable speed stat of 90. It's very, very powerful. It's a very powerful Pokemon. However, if Kyogre is allowed to use the blue orb and goes into primal form, its stats just skyrocket in terms of what it can do. So the special attack will have a 180. Its special defense will increase to 160. As for its physical attacks, it goes up to 150. So you can actually get away with running a physical attacking Kyogre or a mixed attacking Kyogre. If you want to sacrifice your defenses, because I don't think your defenses go up. Yeah, your defenses do not go up when you go from from regular Kyogre to primal form. So you can run a mixed Kyogre with the weakest stat being your defenses, and instead just focus everything into your offensive power and your speed. That's just one thing. Another thing that makes Primal Kyogre very powerful is, of course, its ability, the Primordial Sea. If it has the Primordial Sea on the field, the entire field is just going to be stuck in a rain setting. So as long as Primal Kyogre is on the field, it's just going to keep raining no matter what. All other weather effects will be neutralized. Fire attacks will be, nullified because the rain will just keep them from being used. And it just makes it really, really potent for those Pokemon that have 4 times weaknesses to fire types. For example, Scizor. That was a very powerful combined Pokemon with Primal Kyogre. It gave Scizor a free Swords Dance in the rain, because it could actually take a lot of punishment, and because its one biggest weakness is, of course, fire, Primal Kyogre nullifies the fire, so it got rid of its one big weakness. Now, obviously, Primal Kyogre is not as powerful as it used to be back in Generation 6. there have been introduced some new Pokemon that are capable of rivaling the power of the primal Pokemon of the Weather Trio. And one of those Pokemon that I'm going to be featuring now is, of course, Lunala. So, Lunala in its basic form, just its basic non-fused Necrozma form, Lunala is a very powerful Pokemon. With the ability of the Shadow Shield, it's the same thing as Multiscale for Dragonite. So that is another thing that Lunala has going for. That's one thing it has going for it. Another thing is its signature move, the Moongaze Beam. Unlike other Pokemon that have to have their abilities, this move acts like the ability Mold Breaker. So, like during the first online competition ever held for just Sun and Moon, people ran Moongaze Beam Lunala because that was the biggest counter to one of the big Pokemon back then, and that was Mimikyu, and of course other Lunalas. I believe. I think that was one of the big things that got rid of that Lunalas, and that was it punched through abilities such as like Mimikyu's disguise, allowing it to hit that Pokemon without having to, without giving it that free focus sash, or not the focus sash, free focus sash, free substitute. Alright, now moving on to our next Pokemon, we're going to be looking at Necrozma here. Now, the reason why I'm putting Necrozma here on its own is because even though it has a 600 base stat, it has the potential to really just steamroll through Pokemon. I've seen a lot of regular Necrozmas that use stored power with Calm Mind setups. But one thing that really makes it powerful is the fact that it can fuse with, I believe, fuses with Solgaleo and Lunala, and it gains an additional 80 stats depending on which one it fuses with. So if it fuses with Solgaleo, it gets a really powerful physical attack and defense stat, and if it fuses with Lunala, it goes into its special attack and special defense. Obviously, I believe its speed does not change. Actually, it gets slower, slightly slower, because it fuses with the two Pokemon. However, the reason why I like when it fuses with like either Solgaleo or Lunala is because it gains not only the move of the Pokemon it fuses with. So if it fuses with Lunala, it gains Moongaze Beam, and I actually forget Sunsteel Strike. Sunsteel Strike for Solgaleo. You can tell I am having some difficulty speaking right now, people. You can figure out I am having difficulty speaking. It's been a while since I made one of these videos, but the reason why I'm looking at Necrozma is because it can go into its Ultra form. So I'm not sure if Ultra Necrozma is allowed, but if it is allowed, then that is one of the biggest contenders for this online competition that I think may be able to, stand up to and put the primal Pokemon in their place. Ultra Necrozma is a very, very powerful Pokemon. I don't even think Arceus stands a chance against Ultra Necrozma in terms of raw stat power. I mean, look at those stats. Those are sweeper level stats that many Pokemon wish they even had a small percentage that they have. I pride myself on using Pheromosa for being very fast and powerful, but those are stats that my Pheromosa dreams it wishes it had. All it has that beats Ultra Necrozma is its speed. And that's it. Nothing else. Now, talking about VGC 2016, I talked about how Primal Kyogre was one of the biggest Pokemon alongside Primal Groudon. Those two Pokemon just decimated all the other restricted legendaries. Another one I'm going to be talking about is, of course, Xerneas. So, Power Herb Xerneas is still a very powerful combo. However, with the addition of the Z moves, I've seen a lot of Fairyum Z Geomancy Xerneases out there. Being able to increase all your stats by one stage right off the bat, sure you don't have the ability to, get your +2 in speed, special attack, and special defense right off the bat and be able to attack the next turn. But being able to get the +1 into everything else, that gives you a +1 Xerneas in every stat on turn 1, and then you get a +2 in speed, special attack, and special defense. meaning you have +3 in those 3 stats by turn 2. So if your Xerneas can just make it through that second turn, if it can just get through that second turn safe and sound, that is one almost unstoppable Pokemon right there. Only a really, really fast Pokemon. Even then, you're going to need Steel-type moves to bring Xerneas down, or really, really focus it down. That is another reason why Power Herb, or not just Power Herb, but Fairyum Z Geomancy Xerneas is so potent. It just forces your opponent to focus it down, because if you let Xerneas run wild, it will decimate your team. No chance, no hope. It will not even care. It will just steamroll you and just walk on without a care in the world. So, okay, that's that's pretty much all I have to say about Xerneas. I've had enough fawning over Xerneas. You can tell that I still love Xerneas, even though it has decimated me in the past. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned a little thing or two, and you can see some of my big contenders. So I'm still thinking that these 4 here, Primal Kyogre, Regular Kyogre, Lunala, I myself might just end up running Lunala as well as Necrozma, whether it be in its basic form or Dusk Mane Dawn Wings Necrozma, and very unlikely, but you never know, maybe Ultra Necrozma will rise to the field if it's allowed if it's allowed in this competition. You never know, but I'll probably see a lot of Dawn Wings Necrozma. And finally, of course, Xerneas. I think these 4 will be the biggest contenders for this online competition. So tell me what you guys think down in the comments section. Do you guys love the idea of what's going to be happening for this competition? This isn't the same, VGC of 2016 in the past. The Primal Pokemon do have some strong contenders, and there are some new additions, new changes, and new Pokemon that will tear down the old strategies of the past. You never know what will come. I hope I'll see you all in another video, maybe tomorrow. Until then, I'm a Parasocial, your Fedora Reshiram. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!